All right, hello. Welcome back to the stream, everyone. So yeah, I streamed earlier today and I'm gonna stream again right now, adding multiplayer to Globbins, which was my GMTK 2024 Game Jam entry. And yeah, I'm just adding multiplayer because number one, it's fun, it's new to me, so I'm learning it. And also, I have an idea for a game I want to make after Gunforged, and so I'm just trying to familiarize myself with multiplayer for that game so that I'm ready to jump right into it whenever Gunforged is finished. But before we get into some more development here, I must pitch my Udemy courses and my Steam games, so the links for both of those things are in the description below. If you want to learn how to make a complete game in Godot, you could check out one of my 2 courses at Udemy, or you can wait for the C# course that's coming out very soon if you want to learn how to use C# scripting with Godot 4. And yeah, if you don't want to pick up any of those for any reason, you can support my work by liking, subscribing, and watching my videos. So anyway, that pitch is out of the way. Thank you all for being here. What's up, Luca? I like how you stroll in here, just go, yup. All right, so I kind of did a little bit of work on this afternoon as well. So I actually just got done refactoring my upgrade manager. So my upgrade manager class, if you recall in Globbins, after every wave you can choose one of 3 upgrades. So there's a small, medium, and large upgrade. I did not have multiple player support for this upgrade system, so it was just using the upgrade system of the host for all the players. And so what I ended up doing is I created a distinction between each of the players and how their progress is through the upgrades. And the way that I did that is I created this upgrade tracker class here. And this upgrade tracker class essentially takes all of the possible upgrades in an initialization function. It sorts them into small and medium and large upgrades. And then I can basically do all of my upgrade management through here. So I can choose an upgrade for the upgrade screen. I can add an upgrade to the map, the upgrade map. And this is then in the upgrade manager mapped per player. So this upgrade tracker map it has keys that are correlated, or what's the word? Keys that match up to the peer ID of the clients. So it's keeping track of each individual client's upgrade selections in an upgrade tracker class for each of the peer IDs. So I'm kind of not done with this though, because let me go ahead and run the game and I'll show you exactly what's going on here. So I can go to my multiplayer. Oh, I also implemented UPnP punch through, which actually I might want to... Yeah, now that I think about it, I probably don't want to go into there yet because it's going to expose my public IP address, which is not going to be that good of a thing to do. So let me go into my multiplayer lobby menu here and create peer label. Is that what I'm doing? No, it's multiplayer. Yeah, lobby menu, right? So copy IP button. Where's my IP label here? IP label. So multiplayer root external IP address. Let's do this. External IP address. Yeah. So I'm using UPnP, Universal Plug and Play, to set up router rules for the port. So that way players hopefully don't have to do any configuration. But what I am going to do is I'm going to not set my IP address there. IP label.text. So that way you guys can't attack me. Not that I was thinking that was going to happen, but... actually, I'm going to do this. Put back. Okay. Well, I hope I disabled everywhere where my IP address would be being shown, but let's... Actually, I'm going to drag this to the other screen and see real quick. Okay. So there we go. So the IP typically shows up here, and I've got copy IP button and copy port button. So my IP, ooh, it's a mystery, but basically my router now has 3050, port 3050 open. I just chose a random port. I don't know why I chose that one, and so now I can go to multiplayer, and what I can do in here is I can either add the IP address from this host screen, which is your external IP address, or I can add like localhost, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to leave this as default, so localhost, and I'm going to click join, and now I'm in. Obviously the host has a lot more options here as opposed to this player screen. And so let's begin. So that throws both players into the game, and everything's synchronized really nicely. Now, what I want to show you, the whole reason I went through all this is because now both players are getting upgrade selections. So what I still need to do is I still need to make it so that way this game will wait until both players have selected something. And I also need to, there's a lot of really minor stuff I need to handle, but so if I select this small fire rate here, now the player has a small fire rate, and this player does not have a small fire rate. So in the top left, so the host doesn't have it, but the client does. So the upgrades are now distinct on a per player basis. And yeah, now we just gotta implement some more, I don't know, just some more, like, just make the game feel nicer. I think on this stream, what we're going to be doing is figuring out how to handle player death. Probably what I'm going to do is if a player dies, if a player dies, they'll have to wait until the surviving players clear the wave. And then once the wave is clear, then the players that died can be respawned into the game. That's how I want to do it, and we'll see how that works. I don't know how I'm going to set that up, but we are going to figure it out. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Hello, Abo. I'm going to publish a game on itch today. Very nice. Congratulations. So you need to track the upgrade status of every player on the server and resume play when everyone has selected something. A timeout is also needed to avoid infinite delay. Yes. Probably won't do a timeout because if I was doing like a commercial release game, yeah, I would do that. But since I'm just doing this as a fun thing, how did I make that UPnP thing? There's a nice video on it on YouTube, but essentially it's all of this. So there's a UPnP class in Godot. You can instantiate it called Discover. You can handle some errors in here. You can get the gateway, check if it's valid. Then you can just do these add port mappings here for UDP and TCP. And the video I was watching suggested that you do it with a descriptor and without a descriptor. So that's what these are doing. And then once you've set up those ports, or I guess you don't have to set up ports, but then you can query the external address, which is like your public IP. So that's how I'm getting the public IP here. And then I'm creating a server on the port that is passed into this create server function. So that's basically that. Can't believe you're still live. Yeah, it's a new stream. Yeah, I would not be, I don't think I could survive being live that long. Do I need to make something on my router for UPnP? You just have to make sure that UPnP is on, which apparently it's on by default. It's on by default in most routers, I think. Let me just check real quick.
So you've been...
Yeah. So I'm going to link this video in case it helps anyone. Yeah. So I'm going to link that video in case it helps anyone. That's the video that I was following there. And yeah, so it was a very helpful video. So let's figure out this upgrade system here. So yeah, my upgrade manager here, what's essentially happening is that emit upgrade selection finished. Upgrade screen dot finished. So yeah, I need to, oh man, I don't know how this is going to work. So I'm getting lost here in what I've got. So I've got show upgrades for player. So basically what's happening is show upgrades will be called on the server after the round is completed. Yeah, so here. So on round completed, it's going to call show upgrades. What it does in here is it loops over all of the peers on the server that are connected to the server rather, and it gets that tracker, that upgrade tracker for that peer, chooses some random upgrades based on what the current tracker state is, and then it calls this show upgrades for player. It calls the RPC, the remote procedure call, for the specific peer ID that we're iterating over here with the list of upgrade IDs that were chosen by the tracker. Then in this show upgrades for player, this is what instantiates that upgrade screen and then sets the upgrades. So I think on finished here, so what I need to do now is I need to what I'll probably do is now there's a question of whether I should keep track of all the players that need to select upgrades here. Do I want to handle that in here, or do I want to handle it in like the enemy manager here? Because the enemy manager is kind of the enemy life cycle. So I could just as easily imagine a situation where, let's see, I'm emitting round completed here. I think that's being listened to in the ready method here. Yeah, enemy manager round completed connect on round completed. So I'll probably keep track of it here because then I can emit. Nope. What is actually triggering this enemy manager? I'm going to close it all. Oops. What is actually triggering this enemy manager to continue? So proceed is being called on upgrade selection finished, which is being, okay, upgrade selection finished is coming from game events. So where is this being emitted? Emit upgrade selection finished. So it's being called here on upgrade finished. Okay, so it's basically being emitted there. Cool. All right, so I guess I'll just keep track of it here. So var, maybe I'd put it in a different spot if I wanted to, or if I was gonna spend more time on this, but let's just do this. Waiting on player count equals 0. Okay, let's go down here. Waiting on player count plus plus. Oh, I can't do that. Plus equals 1. Okay, so there's a little bit of a tricksiness here, which is that what happens if I as a player disconnect before I've selected an upgrade? Well, then the server's going to be waiting indefinitely, right? So I might want to connect to the disconnect signal on the multiplayer just so I can decrement this counter. Or I can force a recheck at least. So let's do this. Waiting on player count plus equals 1. Let's do this. On upgrade finished, let's do... Oh, wait. One problem here is this is being called on the on the player. So I actually need to do this. I need to say, oh, I already have notify upgrade selected. So I actually don't need to hook into this on upgrade finished, I don't think. What I'm going to do instead is let's comment that out for now because that's just confusing me. Let's get rid of this upgrade screen finished. This notify upgrade selected is being called, which means that we can, in here, we can do, this is being called on the server only. So we can do waiting on player count minus equals 1. And then let's go ahead and do a method called like check all upgrades selected. Var peer count is equal to multiplayer root. Whoops. Multiplayer root dot get all peers dot size. If, wait a minute. Let's actually do something different. Waiting on player count. Let's set this to 0 here, and we'll increment that. Is that what I want to do? No. Let's increment it here. Waiting on player count. Well, this is, let's change this to players finished selecting. Players finished count, I guess. Yeah, let's do that. Players finished count, so we'll increment that by 1. Then what we'll say is we'll say if players finish count is greater than or equal to peer count, then we can proceed. We'll set that back to 0. And I guess we don't really need to set it to 0 here. So we'll set that to 0 so that way it doesn't get called multiple times. And then we'll admit that upgrade selection finished. And that's only going to happen on the server. So this check all upgrades selected, notify upgrade selected, this is going to be called, so what we can do here is we can do check all upgrades selected. We can call that there. However, we can also listen for the connection. So now what happens if a player joins in the middle of, here's what we'll do. Multiplayer dot peer disconnected dot connect on peer disconnected. Multiplayer peer connected dot connect. Whoops. On peer connected. Now, I guess I probably do want to reset this player's finish count to 0 because if somebody connects mid-game and I increment that, it's going to be a problem. I think I'm several steps ahead of what I'm actually working on, so maybe that doesn't make any sense. Okay, on peer disconnect. I know I've got some chat things. Oh no, you're welcome, Abo. Got to look at the chat more. On peer connected. What we're going to do is we're going to increment this. So we're going to say players finished count plus equals 1. So imagine you've got 2 players. They're in the upgrade selection screen, and then a new player joins. The point is that this peer count is going to be 3. However, the new player isn't going to be presented with an upgrade opportunity. So we need to increment that by 1 as if he's finished, even though he's not getting a selection, so that this check works, right? Players finish count plus equals 1. And then, yeah, that's all we need to do. And then we'll do func on peer disconnected. And what we can do is we don't need to increment the player's finish count. We can just call check all upgrades selected. Because what's going to happen now is that if you've got 2 players, the one has completed the upgrade selection and the other disconnects before selecting something, what's going to happen is that this is going to call check all upgrades selected. And the peer count is going to equal 1, which is going to be equal to the player's finished count. And so it's going to be able to proceed. So I think that's going to handle everything. Now, I guess this is going to be a problem, though. A player could connect and then disconnect. I guess that's not going to work. Shoot! I guess that's not going to work, is it? Yeah, you got it, Sammy, yeah. So I gotta keep track of which players have finished by player ID, probably. Players finished map dictionary. Players finished map string from peer ID is equal to true. On peer connected, let's do, oh, I need to have peer ID in here. Peer ID int, peer ID int, players finished map stir peer ID equals true. Players finished map. I guess I can just set this to false here. Players finished map. We'll just reset the map to an empty dictionary. And then that should do it. How many players can join? Right now it's just indefinite. You could throw 10 players in if you wanted to. I'd probably limit it to 4, but I'm not gonna worry about that for this. It's just a little experiment, you know. So players finished map. Okay. So now in this check all upgrades selected, let's instead do this. Var peers is equal to multiplayer root.get all peers. If, well, let's do this. Var all finished is equal to peers dot okay, for peer in peers. If players finished map dot has peer ID and players finished map peer ID. I think I can just do that, right? Finished count plus equals 1. Okay. If finished count is equal to peer IDs dot size, then that should be good. So I'm basically storing a map now of every player that's finished. And that should be fine. I think that'll be fine anyway. Have I done any work with Godot Steam? I have not, no. I'm planning on doing so eventually. How many monitors do I have? I have 2. Got one on the left here, and then the main one that I'm looking at. So emit, upgrade selection finished, upgrade selection finished. .emit, let's find out where that's used. Let's do await get tree dot create timer 1 dot timeout. Okay, let's see if this works. It's probably not going to, but let's find out. I could turn the debug mode on so that not so many enemies are spawning. Get a quicker test time. Okay, let's select dynamite splits. Oops, doesn't work. Oh, I forgot to do string right here. Dang it. Okay, let's go to the enemy manager. Let's do debug one enemy and let's see if that works. Okay, so one player has selected, that's good. Now I'll go over to this player. Nice. So that works just fine. Now let's go ahead and see what happens if I disconnect and then I select one. That worked great. Now the disconnect is not getting rid of the player that's there, which is a problem. But that's fine. So I think that's working pretty much the way that I want it to. What was I going to do? I was going to do something. I might as well test the other case where somebody joins mid-game. Just to be thorough. Multiplayer host, multiplayer join, begin. Okay, let's go to multiplayer join. Hey, I'm here. There's an error though. It's kind of a concerning error, but guess I have to figure that out. Anyway, so this guy's not going to be presented with an upgrade, but let's do this one and this one. Nice. Sweet. Oh, but this guy still didn't get an upgrade. Why did this guy not get the opportunity to get an upgrade? Is it perhaps related to this? Hello, Roger Random. How many brain cells have I lost to it? Quite a bit so far. There's a lot of really weird things that are happening. Hello, TKS. Welcome. Really like the style of art of this game. Thank you. I think I want to use this style for the game that I want to make after Gunforged. Like very simple, kind of Globbins style characters. That's very concerning. Why is this guy not getting upgrades? So there's an error here. Create player condition not in its inside tree. On peer connected. Do I want to do .call deferred maybe? Oh, you know what? No. Wait. Do I only want to do that on the server? Maybe that's what I want to do. So I want to get rid of this. I think I basically... Maybe I just want to connect to the signals here on the server. Maybe that's what it is. Let me think about that. Is that what I want to do? Create player that's going to go to the multiplayer spawner. I think so. I think so. Join, begin. Okay, there's no more error. Am I going to get upgrade choice now? Why am I not getting an upgrade choice? Give me my upgrades. You're a madman for allowing joining mid-game. Yeah, I probably should disable it, but might as well. Probably will not allow joining mid-game for the game that I want to make, because that's going to be very difficult. Although, if you're going to implement... I mean, reconnecting is one thing too, right? Reconnecting is handled pretty easily here because I'm storing all the player state on the server side, so basically just pick up from where you left off. What's the game I want to make? So imagine this Globbins game, but instead it's set into it's set in a high fantasy universe. So you've got like wizards and archers, rangers, knights, paladins, all that kind of stuff. And so it's a multiplayer co-op game, but that follows the same formula as Globbins. So it's just like a single screen. It's got a similar aesthetic, but you can go in with your buddies and you can play as like all these different RPG classes. And then instead of, well, maybe in addition to the kind of upgrades that are happening in Globbins, you also get like RPG equipment, right? So like, you get like a loot explosion at the end of the wave, and then you can chatter amongst your friends, like who gets what piece of armor and whatnot. I think that would be really fun. But Gunforged first. That does sound like fun. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, I think it's going to be... I think just take the Globbins formula basically and build on it, but instead of having like modern weapons and stuff, I would have like orcs and goblins and other beasts and whatnot. Anyway. Show upgrades for player. Get all peers. If not, upgrade. Oh, because I'm not adding... Oh, that's right. On peer connected, I need to initialize... Let's call this again. Initialize upgrade tracker map. So I didn't have a tracker, an upgrade tracker for any new players that joined. So it was skipping that player when presenting upgrades. But now I can call this as many times as I want, because what happens is that if it already has an entry for the peer ID, if it already has an entry for the peer ID, it's just going to skip. So if the upgrade tracker map does not have an entry though, it'll go ahead and initialize that. So now the player can join mid-game and should now get Oops. Hey, I'm here. Okay. So now I can join. Bam. Now I can go here. And everyone should get upgrades. Nice. Let's do this one first. That one. And let's just quit with this guy. Goodbye. Nice. And the game continues. Sweet. Haha. This is so cool. All right. So there was something, was there something else that I was going to do, like, immediately? Don't remember. I heard that if you want to add a multiplayer, start building from the start. I can see how hard it is to add now. Yeah, I've been basically spending, like, yesterday and all of today just, like, working on adding multiplayer to this game. So yeah, you definitely should start with multiplayer in mind first. Design it from the ground up for multiplayer. Because like the way that Globbins works now is that when you do single player mode, it basically just starts up a local server, you know, and actually I don't even think it starts a server. I think that all the code just works because it doesn't start a server, but Godot by default registers like a single player offline connection as is server. And so, as long as you're doing all your checks appropriately, single player mode, you're basically just playing a server authoritative local server. Anyway. Anyway, so is that all I needed to do for the upgrades then? I think so. So let's move on to some more pressing matters. Upgrade. Wait for player upgrade selection. Let's do one thing that's kind of annoying me right now, which is that I'm not... So on peer disconnected, I've got this peer ID. What I need to do is I need to do ysort root.get child or get node. Ysort root slash %s %stir peer ID dot queue_free. So when the peer gets disconnected, I'll free it. And that should synchronize across all the clients. Bam, bam. Let's go. Begin. Okay, let's send this guy to the brig, and he's disappeared. Cool. That was just one thing that was annoying me, so might as well commit that. Free player on disconnect. Multiplayer dev mantra. Now this will work probably. Yeah. I'm using eNet connections because I decided I want to make an MMO and needed bandwidth. Everything about this was just proving how much I hate myself. That sounds difficult. That sounds very difficult. How is it going though? Would you say that it's going well, or... I mean, I know you just said that you're hating yourself for it, but are you making progress at least? It's working? That's good. Yeah, I can't imagine the level of effort that would be. The end of wave card system, do you have a video already on it? No, the closest thing I have is that there's that sort of upgrade system in my Survivors course, my Godot 4 Survivors course, so link for that is in the description below, but I don't have a standalone video on that, no. Basically, it's just using tweens to animate the cards. The thing about animating UI nodes in Godot, though, is that Godot really doesn't like when you animate... what am I looking for? Children of container nodes, because container nodes manage their children's position automatically. And so it's really hard to animate them. You have to fight against Godot to like override the position and everything. So what I've taken to doing, especially for elements that I know are of fixed size, is I give it a control node parent. So if I go to upgrade card animator, yeah, so this upgrade card animator here, this is a control node that contains an upgrade card. And what ends up happening is that in the upgrade screen, what ends up getting added is the upgrade card animator. And if I go to editable children, what that ends up doing is that this upgrade card animator ends up getting positioned by the card container. So if I add multiple of them, they get added as the container dictates, right? But since the control node does not control its children's positions, I can take something like the upgrade card and I can animate this however I want, right? And I can use this, I can animate this using relative positions as well. So for instance, I'll have a tween that basically says start 600 pixels away and then tween to vector 2.0, right? Tween to 0, 0. And what that means is that it's not going to go here, it's not going to go there, it's going to go to 0, 0 relative to its parent, which means it's going to go like right there, right? So that's basically how I'm getting around the UI animation issue. It gets a little bit trickier when you have elements of variable sizes. Because right now what I did is I basically just hard-coded this upgrade card animator to have the same dimensions as a card. And so, anyway, that's basically how I'm doing it. You made an add-on for that. That would be super helpful. It's on the asset store. What is the add-on called, Roger? Yeah, everyone check out Roger's add-on if we can get the name of it. I'm a professional streamer now with a hobby of software development. Yeah, probably. FACS. Fancy animated controls. Submitted by Roger Random. Let's see if I can bring this over here. Oh, let me get my browser all set up. Oh my gosh. Fancy animated controls. I'm gonna have to check this out. Sorry, I had to mute you, Roger Random. I'm just gonna skip through this, see if we can find an interesting spot. I'm sure it's all interesting, but you've got like a whole visual scripting flow and everything. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, look at that. Wow, I'm definitely going to check that out. Thanks for sharing. That's cool. Hath been silence, yeah. All right, so what am I doing? I don't remember what I was doing. Let's go ahead and see. I don't want 3 instances anymore. We don't need that. Customize run instances. Boom. Multiplayer host, multiplayer join. Begin. So yeah, so the round time is not synchronized, nor is the difficulty. So I'm gonna have to do that. I gotta figure out a way to sync the difficulty. But the round time for sure. That should be easy enough, I think. I need to handle player death too. That's going to be the next big thing to handle. Round started, on round started. Game difficulty, get difficulty text. So I just need to figure out where that countdown is happening. Enemy manager, get round time remaining. Okay. So I think what I need to do is I probably need an RPC call in here. Func start round timer, wait time float, at RPC, authority, call local, reliable. So we'll basically just send the round time out and then we'll start the round timer. So let's do start round timer dot RPC, and we want the round time in there. So that should send it over to the clients. Is that just going to work right then? Let's see. I probably want to move away from UPnP for testing because that's a little bit of a delay. It's kind of annoying, but we're going with it. That is not correct. Oh, wait time. That should be correct now. Let's turn off this debug mode. Recently updated it to allow you to do with positions relative to container size. Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. Is this stream going to be kept as a VOD? Yeah, so all the multiplayer streams that I've done, or a lot of the multiplayer work I've done for Globbins has been streamed as VODs. So if you just go to my live tab and at my channel, you can see all those and it will be available for you. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I wasn't using wait time. Are the keys of the mechanical keyboard heavy when clicked? Mine are, yeah. I think I have Glorious Panda switches, I think is what they were called. They're a little bit heavy. There's a pretty significant delay in that time, but I think it's probably okay. I think that was just the initial time here. Okay, so that's synced now, which is cool. Now we got to figure out how to sync the difficulty, which is going to be a little bit more difficult. I think what I'll do though is instead of proceed.call deferred here, I think what I'll do is I'll wait. So await get tree.create timer. Let's do 2 seconds .timeout. Just give players a chance to connect or to load the scene. And I think that should pretty much more or less sync everything up nicely. Or not. Or it just won't run at all. Wow, it's amazing. Oh, I forgot to... I deleted the part where it proceeds. That would be the problem. So there's all kinds of errors with like the life cycle too. Like I can't go back to the main menu. I have to be able to stop the server first. I wasn't even watching the countdown to make sure that it was all synchronized. There we go. That's nice and synchronized, I think. All right, let's do the difficulty next. So let me synchronize round timer. I haven't even started on making the boss multiplayer yet. Haven't even started on making the boss multiplayer. We gotta get this difficulty working though. Also, I don't have a difficulty selection option in the multiplayer window, so that's a problem. Oh, there's a lot of work to do. Okay, where's the game difficulty being referenced? So let's do game difficulty. That needs to be synchronized to the clients for display purposes. I don't think the clients should be using it for logic anywhere though. Health component. Difficulty. Get difficulty text. What's interesting here is that it's not showing the difficulty, even though it should have a default value. So there's something going on with my game UI here. Round S, difficulty text, on round started. Oh. So my enemy manager is not emitting round started for the clients. Let's figure out how to address that. I guess we'll synchronize the round count. Round started.emit. I mean, I could do kind of like a semi-redundant, you know, like, something like this, at RPC authority, call local, reliable, start round, we'll do like, new round count, int, and then we'll do, yeah, something like that. And then we'll do round count is equal to new round count. Do we need to do boss spawn started as well? Probably, right? Yeah, that's also in the game UI. This is probably not the best way to do this, but oh well. So we'll synchronize that round count with the round count coming in. We'll do a round started dot emit, and then we'll do if is boss spawn started dot emit. So in here now, what I can do is I can do start round dot RPC with the round count that exists, and then is boss is true, and then otherwise we will emit that here, start round count with just the round count. So that should synchronize the round count across the clients. I'm not entirely happy with that, but I don't really know a better way of doing it. So maybe if I was making this more appropriately, I might signal or signify in some way which signals are client signals and which signals are server only signals. Because right now, the way I'm developing this is that there's some signals that only happen on the server, that the server is only listening for, and then there's some signals that the server and the clients are listening for, and then there's, you know, I don't know. I'm still figuring out like what the optimal way of like architecting all this is. So I'm sure there's going to be messiness. How do you keep yourself accountable? Hold on a second. How do you keep yourself accountable when making games? Like, how do you prioritize learning, building multiplayer into this versus working on a new course or video? Well, it's you kind of have to be good at time management, I guess. Typically what I'll do, honestly, is like if I just don't feel like working on the course, for instance, I will try to find something else to work on that is also productive to what I want to accomplish. So, and I do this in game development too. So like if I'm working on Gunforged and I don't feel like working on code, what I might do is I might do art instead, right? And it's the same with kind of like my YouTube channel live streams. The reason I'm doing this live stream right now is because one, I do want to learn the multiplayer stuff because it's going to be very helpful in the future, I think. So that's definitely a good thing. But the live streams are also good because they're content for my channel, and I can insert plugs to my Udemy courses. So check out my Udemy course in the link below. So it's like evergreen content that is helping me get people into my courses, helping the channel out, because a lot of people do watch these VODs because they just like the vibe of them. And so that helps a lot too. And I'm learning. So I'm like accomplishing multiple things at once. So yeah, it's easier to be accountable when you have multiple different things that you can do that are all productive in the direction that you want to go. The tricky part is when you have one clear thing that you need to do and then you're not, you're not doing it, or you don't want to do it. That's where discipline comes in, but I thought the refactor was to make the game multiplayer first, with single player being server game with one active client. I mean, I'm basically just getting that for free. Because what happens is the person that's hosting is the server and a client, I guess, kind of. Basically, there's the way that I'm building it and the way that it seems to be working is that you kind of get what you're talking about for free, where if you just do a proper multiplayer architecture, it's going to work in single player mode and when other peers connect. My ear is ringing a lot. That's weird. Maybe I'll take this off for a bit. I don't need it. It's not like you guys are talking verbally. Oh, I think I got a bunch of stuff coming off my headphones too. Peeling. Well, we'll just set those down. Do you have any accountability buddies or something like that? I do not have accountability buddies. I am my own accountability buddy. But I guess what I would say is like, the more you do like productive work, the more that you focus on getting productive work done, the more you actually enjoy it, to the point where you actually feel bad if you don't get any work done. At least that's where I've gotten. And so the accountability is just the fact that I feel bad if I don't do any work. So, but it takes a while to get to that point in my experience. Hello, computer science student Riverbat? Hello. Just wanted to say thank you for your great YouTube channel, and more specifically Udemy course. Your Godot 3.5 was a big asset for me getting into game dev. All the best. Awesome. Glad to hear that. Thank you for your comment. Emmanuel Ojor. Hello, if I may ask why you are using the compatibility renderer. It's just a holdover from the early days of Godot 4. My Gunforged demo had a lot of crashing on for, I think, renderer reasons. So I'm just sticking with compatibility because it works on more hardware. It's apparently slower, but I think for 2D games it's probably not that important. So I'm just using the compatibility renderer just for safety purposes, basically, but I may try Vulkan again at some point, the forward plus renderer. Okay, let's see if the round numbers are synchronized now. The difficulty text is still not synced. What is going on? Why is there no difficulty text now? That's very odd. Oh, the round text isn't even updating at all. Method expects 2 arguments but called with 1. Start round. Oh, am I not? Right. Do I need to call this with 2 arguments? Can I set a default? Does that work for RPC methods? Okay, so now the difficulty is being shown properly. Let's see if it goes to round 2. Die Globbins. Nice. Okay, so the rounds are now synchronized. That's good. All right, let's focus on the difficulty now, and then we'll make any gameplay changes that need to happen as a result of the difficulty too. Like the player heal that's happening, that is something that... The player heal that's happening is something that needs to be accounted for based on difficulty. Because if you're on easy difficulty, it heals you 100% of the way. If you're on medium difficulty, it heals you 1 health after each round. And if you're on hard difficulty, you heal no health. So once we get that game difficulty working, we should be able to work on player death now, because you might have noticed that player death is not being handled correctly. Compatibility is best for 2D, but for 3D forward plus is best. Yeah, that was kind of the impression that I got as well, because compatibility in the 2D for 2D games doesn't really provide that much of a performance hit, but works on more hardware, which if you're developing a 2D game, you probably want to maximize the amount of hardware it can run on anyway. But yeah, 3D, I think it's much more acceptable for 3D games generally to have sort of exclusive hardware requirements where you say, hey, if you don't meet the requirements, then you can't play the game, right? That's just less of a thing in 2D games. People just generally expect 2D games to work on whatever hardware you're running. Okay, so I'm going to take a quick break for a couple minutes here. Gonna go get some more water and whatnot. So I'll be right back, but in the meantime, please check out the links in the description below. You can find my courses, you can find my games, my social media stuff, my newsletter, all that good stuff. So yeah, while I'm away, check out any and all of those links, and I'll be back in just a few minutes. Alrighty, we are back. We are back. So let's handle this game difficulty stuff like I was mentioning before the break. Game difficulty. So let's figure out, we need to synchronize this. That's the most important thing. Where are we going to synchronize this? Well, we don't have a way of changing the game difficulty right now anyway, so maybe what I'll do is... Now here's a question. Should the game difficulty be changeable in the multiplayer lobby menu? Probably, right? I'm so bad at this kind of UI design, but I'm gonna roll with it. HBox container. So we'll just change the button text. So the button will just cycle through all the difficulties. Although you don't get... the problem is you don't really get a... You don't really get a description of what each of the difficulties does, though, in here. Which is a problem. Yeah, what I would probably do if I wanted to do this correctly is I would go to the main menu here. There's this difficulty selection container. This, I would probably take this and make it its own like standalone scene that I could just instantiate for difficulty selection. And then what I would do is here, after clicking begin, instead of immediately going into the game, what I would do is I would show that screen, and as the final selection, you choose the difficulty. But given that that's going to take time, and I do need to get back to working on the C# course at some point, we're going to cut corners, and we're just going to say, you're going to have to guess on what the difficulties do. So we'll go ahead and take that approach. Layout, container sizing, shrink end, expand. That's what I wanted. Shrink and expand. There we go. So there's difficulty easy. Let's call this difficulty button. Difficulty button. Access as unique name. Drag that on over. So we've got our difficulty button. Difficulty button dot pressed dot connect on difficulty pressed. Func on difficulty pressed. And I want to try something. I'm going to try something interesting. I'm going to try something that's very interesting. Can I cannot export static variables, can I? No. That would be cool, though, if you could. I think that kind of goes against the design of exporting, though. Can you do multiplayer synchronization stuff in... I don't know. I want to see if I can do multiplayer synchronization stuff in autoload nodes, and game difficulty, I believe... Oh no, game difficulty is just a script. Oh. So I can't even do any synchronization if I wanted to on this, I don't think. Scripts, standalone scripts can't do RPC stuff because they're not part of the scene tree, so we're going to scrap what I just said there. Although I am going to make a static function for increment difficulty. Wrap. Wraps the variant value between is max. Now the question is max exclusive in wrap here? Wrap value 7. A is 5.5. Okay. So we're going to say difficulty equals wrap value difficulty plus 1 between 0 and, or we could do difficulty dot easy and difficulty dot hard. These enums get converted to ints under the hood, which is why I think I can do this. And then let's return, oh, we'll just say, oh wait, this is gonna, I don't know why I did all that. Current difficulty is equal to wrap current difficulty. So that means that it's basically like every time we call it, if we're on hard and we call increment, it's just going to wrap back to easy. And that's going to be useful for doing what we're going to do here in our multiplayer lobby menu. So on, where is it? On difficulty pressed. Let's create an RPC method. Func change difficulty. This is going to take a game difficulty dot difficulty. Oh, I'm curious where the name Firebelly came from. Well, Whitefinch, you're in for quite a tale. Am I spelling difficulty wrong? Oh, difficulty is one of those things that doesn't sound like a word anymore because I've said it so much, you know what I mean? So, it's kind of weird. Let me just finish this up and then I'll check out the chat here. Oh, the sun. I have my shades closed. It's coming right in my eyes. Can you see that? Oh, goodness. I need thicker curtains, I suppose. So, down here, we'll call change difficulty dot RPC. Game difficulty dot increment difficulty, like so. Okay, so that should work. And then the last thing we need to do is we need to hide this if we're not the server. So difficulty button dot visible equals false. Let me just make sure that that works real quick and then I'll turn to the chat. I'm pretty sure that's going to work. Oh, I got to change the button text, but if I click it once, it should go to hard. And if I click begin, we should be on hard difficulty. Oh no, easy. Huh? Oh, maybe the wrap is exclusive. That's so weird. Why is that the case? Okay, increment difficulty. Let's do difficulty hard plus 1. Okay, that should be fine. Anyway, okay, so the name, where did the name Firebelly come from? Well, when I first signed up for online games, which I believe was, hold on a second. Sorry about that. So the name Firebelly came from when I was first signing up for online games. I needed a screen name, right? And so my dad was setting it up because I was like 13 at the time. And I had a pet Firebelly toad at that time, which is like a frog with a red underbelly. And and the name was initially spelled correctly, where there was no EY at the end. And so that was my name for that game that I was playing. And then when I moved on to get a PlayStation Network account, when I got a PS3, I think it was, that name was already taken. That name spelled correctly with just a plain Y at the end was taken. And so I just did a modification of it. I added an EY, and that's the name that stuck. Turns out that Firebelly ends up being quite a common username, but not the misspelled version. And so basically every service or every online game I've signed up with this name has not been taken. And so that's basically where the name came from. I don't know if that lived up to the way I was hyping it, but that's that's the answer. That's the best story. Yeah. It's named after my pet toad, my pet Firebelly toad. Can you make a tooltip for the description of easy, level, or skill difficulty? I could, yeah. It's just a matter of time that I don't have to spend, or that I don't want to spend, when this is mostly just like an experimental thing that I'm doing. Do I have a good 8-bit sound explosion effect of a spaceship exploding because the submission is about to close? You can go to the website called JSFXer. I don't know if you're using that. JSFXer. So JSFXer here, and you can basically, you've got like explosion presets here. So you can basically click this, it will randomize all these things to create an explosion sound effect, and then you can just download it. And this is great for like compo games, for like Ludum Dare, which is 48 hours where you have to create everything from scratch, including the sound effects. And so, so I use this quite often when I'm doing my compo games for Ludum Dare. Hopefully that helps. But that creates nice 8-bit-esque sound effects. You're welcome. All right, excuse me for 1 second. I just need to go off camera for a sec. Hello, you can still hear me even though you can't see me. Okay. All right, so let's, so we've got that difficulty. Let me just check that that wrap is working correctly now. Actually, I might as well update the text for the game difficulty here. So if I go to my multiplayer lobby menu, difficulty button dot text is equal to game difficulty dot get difficulty text. And let's just call that up here as well. Difficulty normal, hard, easy, normal, hard. Okay. Oh, that's not right. You know what I could do actually? Instead of doing that, hiding the difficulty button, I will just make it disabled. And it should update now on the client without being able to click it. Look at that. Haha, sweet. So let's do hard difficulty, begin. And now it should update with hard. Yep. Now I think it's kind of annoying how that round text is not updating immediately. So I'm gonna go to my game UI. Func update round text. Paste that in there. And then in the ready method, we'll call that update round text. probably don't need to test this, but I just get into this mode where it's like I need to test every single change. That's honestly something I need to get better at. I need to get better at just like, oh, that's not right. I need to get better at updating that stuff. This could be out of sync now. So when the peer connects, I think what I need to do is I need to call change difficulty.rpcid peer ID game difficulty.difficulty. I need to update, or that dot current difficulty. So I need to update that when the peer connects. So that way if I do this, host, and I change this to hard and I join, nice. So that's synced up now. Cool. Hard begin. Okay, it's saying round 0 at the beginning now, but that's fine. Sweet. All right, now it's time for the big thing, which is how do we handle player death? Actually, I lied. I want to do something else first. Invalid packet was found. Ooh, that doesn't sound good. I'll worry about that later. Those errors need to be handled, but okay. So that game UI, update round text. Let's do this. Update round text is waiting. Bool equals false. No, I don't want to do that, do I? I'm not going to worry about that. That's such a minor thing. Let's do the big thing. So what I'm going to do is let me commit that. So, oh, I'm not done with the game difficulty stuff yet. So if I go to my player, game difficulty, on round completed, right, so this on round completed, which is being called, oh my gosh, this is a massive script. Enemy manager instance round started, connect on round completed. Okay, this needs to RPC to a heal on the proper peer. Now I could add an RPC like I've done here. I actually don't know if I like doing that. But let's just do it anyway. So health component dot heal, we're going to do dot RPC ID, and then ID is going to be multiplayer peer ID. Let's copy all that, paste it here. All right, let's see if that works. So that should be RPCing out only to the proper health component, which I hope is correct. Let's do normal first. So I just took 1 damage. Or a bunch of damage. Let's just make sure that this health works. Okay, that heal appeared to work just fine. Nice. So that health appeared to work, or that heal appeared to work just fine. Let's try out hard now and make sure I've only got 5 health. Because I don't think I ever tested that. Hard difficulty begin. Nope. Does not appear to be working. Oh, I see. That's where these errors are coming from. Okay, so I do need to address these errors. Node not found, multiplayer root, scene root, main, Y sort, health component. Okay. Do you ever hook up a controller via Bluetooth and test out the other mappings? So Gunforge does have some basic controller support. The problem with controllers is that you need to add like aim assist and stuff. So I'm going to try to make Gunforge controller compatible, but honestly, I might just drop that for the initial release of the game because it's so complicated, especially with the UI that I have. It's very hard to get the UI to work correctly with a controller, and you need all kinds of different like code to handle it, and it's just a huge mess. And I also don't have I also don't have a Steam Deck to test with, so I could do my best, but then I would be like kind of out of the loop in terms of if it works on Steam Deck. So I think in the interest of saving time, I'm probably not going to introduce Gunforge with controller support. Depending on the success of Gunforge, like if Gunforge gets a lot of sales and it's like, oh, people really want controller support, then I'll probably focus my efforts on making sure to add that. But it's so time consuming and it's so difficult that probably will not have it. Yeah. Like one of my favorite games, Tiny Rogues, which is a huge inspiration for Godot. I put like 30 hours into that, and so did many other people before there even was controller support. So yeah, I probably Gunforge will probably not release with controller support. So yeah, I probably will skip it. It's just a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Okay, so what am I doing? I need to figure out why this RPC is failing. I probably need to do RPC ID. I think I'm doing that wrong anyway. Because I'm just calling RPC on the general from every player, but I think I just want to do RPC ID with multiplayer peer. I wonder if that's going to fix my issues. Probably not. Oh, I forgot to change the difficulty. Okay, I'm actually going to do one thing really quick. I am going to get rid of this. This UPnP for now. Because I don't need it, and it's adding quite a bit of delay. Okay, so this is not working. Requested node was not found. So do I need to... What What happens? Can I call this in a deferred manner? .rpc ID call deferred. Let's try deferring the call. I think there's probably a race issue here though, but... Oh no, that seemed to work. Okay, let's see if I have 5 health now. I do not have 5 health. I have 5 health on the server. But I don't have 5 health on the client. So I think the problem is that the player is not in the game yet. And so that remote procedure call is not ending up at the client. So, what might be easier, instead of doing all this, what might be easier is if I do... So this variable is exported. Maybe I could do like a getter and a setter. I don't know how to do getters and setters. Okay. I think I figured it out. Quick Google search. So let's do this. Var, let's create a private like max health value here. Float equals 1. Here, we'll do get return max health. Set value. Max health equals amount. Oh, this is value. Current health equals value, max health equals value, and then we'll do health change.emit. So we'll do a getter and setter here. And then instead of calling, well, set max health, I can do... I guess I don't need to do that anymore. What I can do now is I can go to my player and I can just do dot max health equals 5. And that should call that setter and getter, or that getter and setter. But now what I can do is, I hope that didn't mess everything up. It shouldn't have. It shouldn't have. Let's open up my enemy small. Okay, yeah, max health is still 3, so that's good. So now what I can do, I think, is I can go to my player scene And this multiplayer synchronizer, I think what I can probably do is add a property to sync health component max health. And I think that's going to work now. Oh wait, I don't want to sync that always though. I want to do only on change. Hard difficulty begin. So now the question is this client going to have, oops. Forgot to change all instances of that. Let me just make sure. Okay. Okay, now it appears to be working. Cool. All right, nice little workaround for that, I suppose. Oops, 2 game over screens. All right, now we can work on getting the player death to work properly. I'm not going to commit that UPnP work. So, okay. Sync max health for hard difficulty. So, how are we going to get this to work now with player death? So, this is going to have to be a little bit of a different flow here. So, on died. Why is this emitting enemy killed? Is that a mistake? Yeah, I think I just copied that. the player emits the enemy killed signal when he dies. That's funny. Oh wait, no, I'm in the boss. Wait, why am I doing this? I'm like on the player scene but in the boss script. Whoops, no. On died. There we go. Okay, never mind. Should have been my first clue, I suppose. I did not do it wrong. Func. Spawn death particles. At RPC authority. Call local. And then reliable. Spawn death particles. So that needs to happen. For any player. Let's move that game camera shake. If player input synchronizer component dot is multiplayer authority, we're going to shake the camera. So this is going to happen on all instances of the player across all the clients, but it's only going to shake the camera for the client who actually died. Right, okay. So we got the death particles. So on died in here. Let's call this registered death. register death.rpc. Now this emit player died. Player died. Let's see where this is being used. So in this main, it's connecting and it's saying, okay, so it's being controlled in main. So on player died. So the way that I'm doing this currently is, oh man. So I was kind of moving in the direction of game events only being like client-side events. So I think I can probably still do that. I don't know. Hello, Snup Bill. Thank you so much again for the 20,000 IDR. Very much appreciate it. I've made 40,000 IDR from this guy today. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Very generous. The message is yummers. So, registered death, maybe I will do this game events emit player died. Because that could be a client-side event as well, but on the server, we'll listen for it specifically. Now we want to queue free it here though, so we can let the multiplayer spawner handle the freeing. Got a cat now. Look at him. What are you doing? Anyway, so we're going to let the queue free happen only on the server side though, but this registered death is going to be called on all of the appropriate client players, and that's going to only shake the camera if you are the player that died, and then death particles, add node to background layer, death particles, emit player died. So we're going to emit the player died on all the clients, including the server, but we're only going to really take that into account in the main script here. Let's also only connect to the game completed if we're the server. So on player died. So I'm going to need to keep track of all the players that are dead, but I'm also going to need to keep track of disconnections and everything. Why does everything have to be so difficult? So on player died. Yeah, shoot. This is going to be hard. Maybe not, though. Let's create a dead player map. var dead player map. Multiplayer code is a slog for sure. Yeah, it can be. It can be. I'm not a wizard at it either, so it's like, it's just hard to keep everything straight. What are you doing, bud? Give the people a show. Give them a show. He's not amused. So, yeah, so the dead player map. So I think what needs to happen when a player dies I need to send along the peer ID of the player that died. So emit player died, peer ID, int, peer ID. Then when we're calling this emit player died, which should only be in one place, then I can do the multiplayer peer ID here. Cool. All right. So that ought to work. And then when I go to I go back to my main. So on player died, this is going to give me the peer ID now. Peer ID int. And what we're going to do is we're going to do we're going to say dead. Well, let's do var stir ID is equal to string peer ID. What are you doing, cat? What are you doing? String peer ID, dead player map, peer ID. We'll just set it equal to true. Like so. Okay. Let's create a new method called check game over. Func check game over. And what we're going to do is we're going to say var all players dead is equal to false for peer ID in multiplayer root dot get all peers. We'll convert that to a string again. If dead player map dot has string ID and dead player map string ID. So if it's true, well, let's do this. If not dead player map has peer ID, string ID, or not dead player map string ID. So if this is false, or if it's not in the dictionary, then what we can do is we can actually, we can say all players dead equals, let's set it to true, and then we'll set it to false here. And then we can break out of that for loop, and then we can say, if all players dead, then we can do this. Now this is going to need to be synchronized across all the clients. So I could create like an RPC methods for this now, but let's handle that later. So we're going to call check game over after the player has died. I'm kind of curious to just see if this is going to work now. I mean, what I should see is that I should see if one of the players dies, he should just die and remain dead. And I should just be able to see the other player doing his thing. Obviously, what I need to do is I need to respawn the player if the other player survives the wave. And yeah, that's basically what I need to do. So let's see if this works though. Multiplayer host, multiplayer join, begin. I should have put it on hard difficulty so I don't have to wait as long. Multiplayer host, multiplayer join, hard difficulty, begin. So let me go ahead and die really quick. Okay, so the big guy has died, the host has died, and I've still got the little guy. So let's see what happens if I beat these guys. Okay. So I'm still able to select, and I'm still able to go, and it goes again. So now if I just respawn the player with the same peer ID and everything, he should maintain all of his upgrades and everything. I think. Hello, Chubblies. Can't wait for your next course on Udemy. Any word when it might drop? I'm aiming to have it done within the next 2 weeks. I think I have like 20 more lessons-ish to record and edit, which should really only realistically take me a week. like if I start up again tomorrow, I should be able to basically get that done probably by next Sunday. And then it'll probably take me about a week just to get the Udemy course page all set up, to get the courses all uploaded, because I have like 50 gigabytes of video. So I've got to get that all uploaded and everything. So I'm going to try to have it done within 2 weeks. And then it'll be on to Gunforged from there. So I'll be publishing a video on this channel when that's ready to go. Okay, so let's our enemy manager here ought to have, so the round completed. I think I can listen to this to respawn the players. Round completed. Round completed. Where is this being emitted from? Right, okay. Oh, this is not even connected correctly. Round completed. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. I was wondering why the health was not changing before. Okay. Anyway. So I can listen to this round completed, I think, in the main. So let's do this. If multiplayer is server, enemy manager dot instance dot round completed dot connect on round completed. And essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and check for any players that are dead and resurrect them with my necromancy powers. On round completed. And I already have this create player here. So I should be able to just call that. So I can do, is there a way to get the keys? Var keys is equal to dead player map dot keys. Nice. For peer ID string in dead, or in keys. I guess I don't really need to do that. Dead player map dot keys. Var peer ID is equal to peer ID string dot to int. And, well, let's see. If dead player map peer ID string, then we're going to call create player peer ID. So we're going to resurrect the player, and then afterwards we can dead player map dot clear. So we'll clear the dead player map. And the beautiful thing about this dead player map is that if a peer disconnects, well, I guess I do need to check if the peer is still connected. Or actually on peer disconnected, what I can do is I can do if dead player map dot has string peer ID. So let's do this. Var string ID. This is so annoying how you have to do this. So if the dead player map has string ID, then what we're going to do is we're just going to do dead player map dot remove, or how do I get rid of one? Erase string ID. So we'll just remove that from the dead player map if the peer disconnects, and that should handle everything. So, any bets? Any bets on whether the resurrection is going to work first try? Day one customer? Nice, thank you. Appreciate that, Chubblies. Can't wait to have that course ready. I'm having fun with this multiplayer stuff, but I do have to get back to the course, so we'll see. All right, let's see if the resurrection works. So we'll let the little guy down here, or the little guy here, die. Okay, so now let's finish the round with this guy. Ooh, it didn't work. Oh, I did. Oh, I can set it as an int. Interesting. Well, I was not setting it correctly here, so that was causing a mismatch type error. I guess the keys don't need to be strings. I guess I was wrong about that. Oh well. Oh well. I'm not going to go back and change everything now. We'll let the big guy die. I think the resurrection was going to work. Nice. Nice. Look at that. He's resurrected. Okay. Is there an obvious... So I'm going to take this upgrade, and what I want to do is I want to see if I die on this guy here. What I want to see is I want to see that he still has that jump ability. So I'm going to let this guy die. The bottom right corner window guy is going to die. Right? Is that right? Yeah. Bottom right corner window guy needs to die. I'm going to take a piece of damage, or a bit of damage as well, and see if I heal up correctly after it. These enemies have more health in multiplayer, so it's taking longer to kill them. I didn't heal. That's concerning. But let's take that. Let's take that. Let's see if this guy... He's still got that jump ability. Nice. So yeah. Very cool. So let's figure out why I'm not healing properly afterwards. Yeah, I'm not healing, so it's related to a change that I made here in my player. Enemy manager instance round completed connect on round completed. Oh, because we're on hard difficulty. That's why. Let's go to normal difficulty and see what happens. Hard difficulty, you don't heal. I forgot. So what I probably should do on hard difficulty is spawn the player back with 1 health. How fun would that be? Okay, let's do that. All right, begin. Oh, I changed it to hard again. What am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, I'm just going to verify that the healing works properly. I should also check that the death screen works too. Okay, so I took 1 piece of damage, or 1 bit of damage, 2 bits of damage. Nice, I healed. Okay, perfect. So what we're going to do now, though, is in this create player, I need to figure out how to tell the player what its starting health should be. That's the thing that I'm going to be stuck on here. So create player, peer ID. So we got data.peer ID, and I guess we should do like an is respawn or something in here. Like is respawn. And then in this data here, player.name equals string data peer ID. Yep. I think I just have to do like a var is respawn here. Bool equals false. I can say player.is respawn equals data.is respawn. And then I can use this information now in the player when I'm setting my max health here. I'm not synchronizing the actual health value, I don't think. Let's see. Register hit health component dot damage. Maybe I should just synchronize the current health as well. So this will just be all of the visual stuff for the register hit. And then health component damage. This can go away. Move this into here. Health component. And the current health here. Export var sync current health float get return. Let's do underscore current health. Let's just do current health, I guess. Get set value and what do we want to do here? Underscore current health equals value. But then we also want to emit the health changed. And that means that I don't need to have it here because that's going to be called anytime current health is reassigned. Okay, and now that this is exported, what I should be able to do, I'm going to put this current health up here. What I should be able to do now is I should be able to synchronize that. So if I go to my player, multiplayer synchronizer, let's also sync health component, current health, on change. And what that's going to allow me to do now is, since that's going to be synced, it's going to reduce or remove those race conditions. And that means that I can go now to my player, and if I'm respawning as a player, so if game difficulty, current difficulty equals hard, if is respawn health component dot current health equals 1. Haha, look at that. So now what happens is after a respawn, I should set my current health back to 1. Oops. So let's see if that works. Hard difficulty, boom. Let's die with the top left, dude. No, don't come after me. Go after him. Okay, so he's dead. That means now that I can... He respawned, but it did not work. Why didn't it work? Can change the state while flushing queries. That's annoying. But I think I know why that's happening. Call deferred on the hit parameter's damage. Because it was emitting the died signal, I think. During that physics frame and then freeing it, I think, or trying to free it somehow. So let's see if that works. I don't know why that would be showing up all of a sudden, though. That's kind of weird. That's kind of weird. Okay. No, don't come after me. I just want you to respawn with 1 health, please. Why is he not respawning with 1 health? Why are you not respawning with 1 health? Is respawn not being set properly? Oh, emit player health changed. Maybe that's the problem. So maybe this guy's gonna die in 1 hit, actually. I forgot which guy. This guy? Nope. So I guess this respawn is not working. Oh, I'm never, oh, I'm never passing that in, am I? That's why it's not working. Oh, goodness. Okay. Respawn is true. There we go. Now it should work. Pretty sure it should work. Oops. Got to select hard difficulty. Wow, I'm losing it. All right, hard, let's go. Okay, we'll let this little guy kill him. That health didn't update. But now he's back with 1 health. Nice. Okay, let's see if it works. Goodbye. That's awesome. Okay. I think I need to do like an else check here. Cool. So there's one thing I want to investigate, which is, yeah, this player, I don't know why this is happening. Maybe I'll just defer this. Defer this itself. So connect flags dot deferred so that this will only be registered after the physics process. That's probably a good practice anyway. And then in here, I can just call damage directly with hit parameters. Register hit. Probably damage on died registered death.rpc. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay, let's see if that works. So I need to see his health go to 0. There we go. His health is 0 now. It was sticking at 1 before. I think it was just an order of operations issue. Except now there's more errors happening. Can't change this state while flushing queries. What do you mean? So maybe I didn't even need to do this call deferred up here. This can't change states while flushing query stuff always gets me. Usually it's in relation to... Yeah, usually it's in relation to the physics frame, but it seems to be happening on round completed here, which is interesting. So maybe I'll just call deferred on this create player. Lots of weird multiplayer stuff happening. That's so weird. Now it's not, now the health bar isn't working again. Well, I'm mostly interested to see if the player is going to be able to respawn without issue. Okay, the player has respawned without issue. So I guess I do need those deferred flags here. Why is that? Let me see if I can figure out why that's happening. So we go to on hitbox component hit. It's calling damage. Damage is changing the current health several times. Oh, health change is being emitted multiple times. Maybe I can just simplify that code because every time current health changes, it's emitting that health changed signal. So that should be fine. And then died.emit. Okay, let's see if that works. Wonder if I was just, I don't know, doing something weird with the signals. But I don't see why that would happen. I don't see why I would need to defer that. Hit parameters damage. Because we're listening to the health changed. I wonder if the player's being removed from the tree before this on health changed is being called. That's probably what's happening, actually. Before it has a chance to synchronize and then emit that health changed signal. Register death. So maybe in register death, actually what I need to do is... Maybe I don't need to call this in a deferred fashion, because I don't want to do that if I don't have to. So I don't need to call that in deferred fashion. I think what's happening is that there's a race condition happening here. So when I call register death, what I'll do instead is I will... Well, now I don't even know if this is going to be called before it gets freed. Oh, right. Yeah. This is only happening on the server, so it's calling health component damage. That's going to have to synchronize, but if I do in register death... Emit player health changed. Maybe I'll just emit that. So in register death, game events, emit player health changed. Let's do 0 and then health component dot max health. Maybe that will catch it. Because I think maybe since I'm using a multiplayer synchronizer for the health now rather than an RPC call, it must be the case that that value is not being synchronized before the node is getting freed. So I think what I'll do is when I call that RPC to register the player death, I can just emit a signal that says, hey, the player health is now 0. And that should account for any sort of race condition there. Oh, it's the kind of weird things that you have to deal with networking, I suppose. Okay, he's dead. And now, it's up to me. It's up to me to save the world. And he's back and he's got 1 health. Wait a minute. Now the health isn't working at all. What is going on? Oh. I need to put this in the proper, right there. I need to put it only, I only need to emit that for the client who owns that player. Goodness, all right. The hell best known as multiplayer integration screws over my custom integration. Yeah. That's true. Goodness. Okay. I think this is going to fix it, hopefully. Okay, so the health bar is correct for this dude. Let me take a hit so make sure that my health bar is correct. Nice. Okay, is that working now? Finally, can I move on? I'm just going to make extra sure that that works. Nice. Okay, I think that's working. Cool. Wow, that was difficult. player death and respawning. Okay. Well, I'm starting to get a little bit tired, so I think I will call the stream there. So nice little 2.5 hour stream. So yeah, thank you all for being here with me. It was fun to hang out. Thanks again for the super chats. Very much appreciated. Yeah, final pitch. If you want to check out and support my work, you can check out my links in the description below. Got the Udemy courses on sale. Got a couple of games on Steam for sale. So if you want to financially support me, those are great ways to do it. And if not, you can subscribe, watch my videos, hit that notification bell, all that kind of good stuff that helps me out a lot as well. So yeah, thank you everyone again for joining me, and hit that notification bell, especially to be notified for when I go live next, because my schedule is a little bit erratic. But with that, I will wish you all good night, and I will see you in the next one.